chairman and CEO of Tigui Mining Group. We are a junior mining company in West Africa, one of the few mining company owned by women. Actually, I'm the only woman in West Africa and in my native country, Guinea, that actually own her company, and it's at 100% owned. So hopefully that will push my young sisters, my mothers, also to go into any type of business that they feel like they have passion, that they would like to get into without any fears. The only thing that will stop you from being successful or doing anything that you want to do is yourself. So if you feel like you want to go in so-called male-dominated business, go ahead if you have the passion. If you know that you are ready to put in the work, the hours, and the sacrifice needed to be successful.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about your experience. What prompted you to start this business that you are into? Mining is
Yes.
difficult, perceived to be a difficult business.
Yes.
Male dominated and all. So
Male-dominated
what
and all.
actually prompted you to join?
Two things prompted. First of all, I'm coming from a political background. I'm born, raised in politics, so I actually know what the value of the mining sector is for a country, African country, or any country in the world. You know, that if a mining sector is used the right way, that it could actually uplift the economy and then bring joy and then economical, like, how do they call it? Fulfillment to the community and to the government. So that's one point already. So I already grew up knowing kind of that. Second of all, I was a model. So being a model, you know, we touch a little bit every sector. So I used to do some jewelry modeling, and then I were able to know some friends that actually owned licenses in Africa, but also was buying jewelries from Africa. And then I see how much they were doing, how successful they were. But yet, when I look back home, I see poverty. So my question was, are they actually trickling back to the community? Are they giving back? Because I see how successful they are, but yet the community is poor. But once I got involved in the mining sector, I understood that it was not because they were not giving back, but sometimes we had like a bad governance. Sometimes we had local chief that will not actually share the wealth with the others. So it was not because these companies were not doing their part, but it was because sometimes the repartition was not done the right way, you know? Mm-hmm. So, and then I also find out those were like in the 2009s, I mean, social media and all that were not as as advanced as we are today. So I wouldn't see too much women involved in the mining sector. Mm-hmm. And I was like, maybe I should get in and then see what I could do to highlight this sector and also push local investors, Africans, to get involved in the economy, to become more owners than just employees, because that's the only way we could actually help our economy, help our continent grow and our countries, because we will be able to keep more of the income within and be able to distribute it the right way.
What did it take to own a license for mining?
Well, you need money. That's one of the biggest things. But sometimes the money that you need to take the actual license is not millions. It depends on the type of license that you want. For example, I evolve in Guinea and in Ivory Coast. If you want to get like a prospection license in Ivory Coast, I believe it's something between 200 for like prospection. If you want to semi-industrial, it's like about 500,000 of the local money, you know, which is like about $1,000. So you see, the license itself is not the problem. If you also comply to the government criteria to get the licenses, that is the easy go. But the big part now is the exploration. Now you have the license, you have to make it valuable. You have to do the research, you know, to find the gizmet. That will allow you later to have in place like transformation plans. That will allow you to hire locals, you know, to be able to change the community life. That is where the big problem is, to raise the funds. Because sometimes mining kind of works hand in hand with political and social issues. If the country in which you are evolving is not stable socially and politically, it becomes very, very difficult for you to find investors to raise money. So that's the big problem. It's not about it is a male-dominated world. Anyone who has the finance and has the right know-how, the technology, will succeed in mining. But yet, it is to find the finances and also to find the right area, where you could actually have the mineral. Because it's also like a little bit of a gamble. Like you're doing prospection, you're doing some samplings, and you have leads that yes, the material, the mineral that you are looking for may be here, but in which quantity at the forefront you cannot know that.
So who helps you with the prospecting in terms of the skills of doing that? Is it still very foreign dependent on foreign skilled labor, or is it available within the African continent, for instance, or within your country?
We are still dependent on foreigners, but we do have a skill too, but that needs a little bit more of a training. We need a little bit more of training. So it's half, I would say. But when it comes to like the right technology, the right know-how, the finance, we definitely for now need to fall back into foreigners because we don't have the local financial power yet. We have a school system, we have a lot of young brothers and sisters that have gone to mining schools, but yet they still need to be hired, and then sometime if we don't qualify to the international skill level, it's difficult to be hired because mining takes a lot of money and you cannot just hire people by complaisance. Because it's money that is being involved, and then you could use that money like this with the wrong decision.
Tell us about financing of your mine.
Yes.
How did you start? You said you came from a political family, but did you have to rely, for example, on a bank to lend you money, or what happened?
No. I was a model, so I made enough money to start off my business. So in 2001, when I had my twins, I finally decided to start practicing what I learned in school, because business entrepreneurship, that's what I did. And then now I thought that it was time for me to use that to create my own business and then start making a difference in my life, in my family life, and possibly in my community's life. So I started off at the beginning with $100,000. So I took that, I went back home. Like I told you, it's not the fees to get the license that's the problem. It's how you run the whole company afterward. Offices, rents, paying off employees, paying off the project. That's where the bigger cost comes in. So with the money that I have, and my currency is actually, like 100,000 at a time was enough for me to be able to acquire licenses, put my offices in place, and I was even able to buy at least three kilos, I believe, of gold. With that money, started trading, and then expand to the level where I am today.
So you're mentioning gold. What
Yes.
minerals are you actually mining now?
It's actually gold and diamonds.
Wow.
We are specialized in gold and diamonds. And we have licenses in Tigui in gold on 76 square kilometers. We also have licenses in diamond on 280 square kilometers. And we are almost, finally now, we found a partner. It took that long. Imagine from 2009. It's recently in June that I finally found the right partner for me. So we finally signed a JV. We will be able now to do the last part of the exploration, which will take us from this company 50 days. We will actually finish up the exploration phase. Then I could go from greenfield to brownfield level, where I have more capacities now, more leverage to go to a bank and then, attract bigger investors.
Tell me about the labor force. Whom are you employing to do all this, mining work?
Young and local people, because my objective is to promote local human resource, local skill. I myself, when I started the mining, I didn't have any background at all, But I surrendered myself with experts, with mentors that helped me today sit in front of you and explain the whole process. I didn't have any clue before. So for that reason, I always want to give a chance to the young people, those that freshly come out of school, because what I'm looking for, the skill of course, but I want to find out first if you are really willing to work, if you are passionate about what you want, if you are willing to put in the work and then do the right thing in order for the company and for yourself to grow together. Because training, we could always organize training. We could like give you that possibility to teach you and learn, just like I did. So my focus is young local, men and women.
I'm looking at you. You're talking about mining diamonds, and you're not even wearing any ornaments on you.
Yes, because it's not about me wearing it. You know, they say diamonds are women's best friend. But me, I know that digging diamonds, how long it takes before that little diamond comes out there. I know all the effort that is in there. So for me, it's not just putting it around me, but it's about the social impact and also growing as a company. And then also maybe comes also with my character. I'm a little bit more of a tomboy. I've never liked jewelries or none of those things. I only wore them when I was modeling, but in my normal life it's like barely. I like makeup. Hands are cut short down because I'm more of a like hands down kind of a lady. So if you had like long nails, all this, or it doesn't really work with my sector. So yes.
So tell us about these two minerals, gold and diamond,
Yes.
especially diamond.
Yes.
I'm curious, do you just dig down, deep down, and have to get real diamonds as we see them today? What type of diamonds are you
Well,
getting?
the diamonds
Do you
that
need to process them after that?
Yes, there are a
And-
lot of steps that goes into that. First of all, is to locate the zone, is to locate the area. So, you know, with the geologists, that's their job. They know they have like minerals when you see them in place that you know that you have either gold or diamonds in these areas. Then you have to dig very, very deep into Mother Earth to get maybe a tiny little piece. Sometimes you don't even find anything. So it is very financial heavy. It's like it takes a lot of financial efforts and a lot of physical effort to get sometimes only one little tiny diamond, because you could like dig all that sometimes for nothing, and sometimes maybe you find one. Or if you are lucky, then you find a whole lot. You know, so it is very difficult. It's not something easy. Diamond exploration is even more difficult than gold. You know, it's more labor intensive, it's more financial intensive. That's why most people kind of start mostly with gold, which is a little bit more easier to explore than diamonds. And then I know maybe you were asking that question also, maybe related to blood diamonds, even though you didn't say it, all the noise about that. Yes, but governments have put regulations in place, and us as mining companies, normally our roles is to be able to vehicle that, to make sure that we are supplying and getting our diamonds or our golds in the righteous manner, you know, not going it in how they call it, in a unholy way, because sometimes diamonds are used for, you know, to finance, you know, wars, you know, and so many other things. So regulating the diamond industry helps sometimes ward off those situations. So the Kimberley certificate is a way, for example, to steer away from blood diamond, because we have seen what happened in Sierra Leone, in Liberia. A lot of lives were lost, economies were totally shambled. It took them, they're still even trying to get back to their feet, and all that was because of a diamond war, you know.
So how much are you exporting every year?
Well, we have not started exporting it, because the exploration phase sometimes takes from 1 year to 10 years, you know. But that's what I just told you. From 2009, we just recently finally found the right partner for us, and then we will now finally go from exploration to the next step, you know, the step closer to exploitation phase, where we will be able now to extract the mineral. So it's a long run. Mining is not like something you go in today and you get it right away. It's different from artisanal. Artisanal, they'll go in today, they'll dig, they'll find 1 stone, 2 stones, they'll go and flip it over, they get it. But when you have a company in place, you're not only just interested in finding 1 stone. You want to develop, you want to find, discover a achievement, something that will run for 20 years, 30 years, and have actually economical value for the country, for the people. So if you are just going and find 1 or 2 stones flipping around, you are not able to really make that impact.
Mm-hmm. I have a concern with the environmental degradation that goes with the mining part of it.
Yes.
How are you handling that? How are you coping with that?
Well, we have experts. Every mining company has a duty to have an environmental program, because when you are destroying the land, you have to also have a rehabilitation program. Sometimes some companies use cyanide that are destructive for the water, for the riverbed, and so forth. That could bring problems for health, and then even will kill out like the fishes, and so many other things will be destroyed from that. So as companies, we have the duty to put in place an environmental program to show the community, to show the government. As we will explore, we also will be able to rehabilitate the land. Maybe close it off, make it more greener, or plant some trees. So every company will have their own program that they will put in place, that they will share with the community and the government about how they will get back Mother Earth to its original shape, if possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And how about child labor? Because most mines in Africa are actually employing young children, and it's also a very lucrative business, especially for the artisanal miners who just go in quickly and get the money.
Yes.
And every young person wants to become rich quickly.
Yes.
But how are you handling the issue of employing children, child labor,
Well,
people under the age of 18?
yeah, I mean, any respectable mining company, you will find none of them using child labor, because we know they have consequences. So none of us will. And then we actually fight against that. For me, for example, when I go to the villages, sometimes you see children, they just saw new people, they are excited to see newcomers in the village. They want to follow you guys down into the mine streams and all that. Now I tell them, no, it is dangerous to have children coming into the mine areas. It's not safe. There should be more in school. So it's for us as companies also to teach the villagers, because they necessarily don't see anything wrong. It's the way of living. You see mothers sometimes, they have their babies at the back and they're still working into the, artisanal mining areas, because that's all they know. They don't necessarily see it as something dangerous, because that's the way. Sometimes these mothers don't have means to have babysitters to take care of their children when they are not home, but yet they have to still go out there and fend for their living. So I talk to them and make them understand that it is dangerous to have children back there, but it would be more better to have them in school. Doesn't matter if it is the actual school that we know, but sometimes we have traditional schools where they could teach them something, keep them busy with something, So right now I am putting in place my foundation, and those are actually one of the fights that I would like to take upon, how to actually get the people aware of the dangers that are about bringing young people, kids in mining zones. And then also teaching women, because they also have a lot of health hazards during, around mining areas, because you have a lot of young men leaving their families for a longer period of time. So it also brings about prostitution, STDs. So through my foundation, these are things that I would like to highlight, to explain to them about how to go about it.
Mm-hmm. You're a mother. You mentioned you have twins.
Yes.
How do you manage your work-life balance?
Actually, right now it's much easier because my twins have grown. They're now 17 years old, and they understand also the work that I'm doing. And as you heard me yesterday, I explained to them. We have some type of communication where I am able to explain to them why I'm being away for such a long time, what I'm doing. So somehow I am getting them involved. So I think in any situation, communication is important. So since I was able to communicate with my children, they are able to understand, and it doesn't affect them as much as it should, because now they understand why mommy has to be out there, and then she's actually doing it for us because she's securing a future for us. I know that money or job security doesn't replace a mother, but at the same time, I am the mother, I am a father. So at those times, I had to play both roles. So how can I change my kid's future while I'm always in place? So I had to make that sacrifice, and the sacrifice was also shared by my family, by me, and in order to get where we are today. So now that they are grown, they understand. They don't need mommy as much as they did before. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned you're a mother and you're a father. How is that?
Yeah, when I started my business, I was freshly divorced. So I actually divorced when my kids were 2 years old. And so at that time, I had to play both the role of a father and the role of a mother. So, and then the decision that I made was I needed to be out there and secure something for my kids. You know, because I didn't want it to live under my family's shadow, even though I'm coming from a political family and all that. I wanted to go out there and get something for my own. You know, I wanted to get my own achievements. So I took that decision to be out there and start a business that later on would help out my community, would give me security also for myself and my kids.
How is the society receiving you as a powerful woman owning a mine? How many people are you employing and how are they perceiving you?
Yes, I have a total of 50. And for me also, like I said, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. I am not about numbers, just I need to have thousands of employees. If the need is there, yes, I would have so. But if I don't, then I don't need to. I would rely on skill, on the person's ability to learn and to actually act. So I have about 50, and then the company is kind of growing slowly, because this year we actually take upon the third step of our company, that the third activity, which is real estate and infrastructure. So in Ivory Coast, we bought some lands in Boisflé. We're gonna start doing some of the real estate, and then that will push me also to have more employees. So maybe I intend to add maybe 5 more to the effective that I already have. Yes.
Are you looking at yourself as among, say, the 10 most richest women in Africa?
I didn't get the question.
Would you consider yourself to be among the 10 richest women in Africa?
I consider myself just a young African woman that is trying to do her best. Because before being a role model to others, you have to be first for yourself, for your kids. So I have children. I want these kids to look at their mother and say, yes, you know, we didn't get so much time to spend with our mother, but she's out there making a change, you know, making a difference for us and for other people. So for me, I mean, if they see me that way, I am happy. But for me, every day is a struggle like for everybody else. I have to get up and go and fight for what I believe in. And that's what I would tell everybody to do so. Because the moment that you start putting titles, then you become stagnant. You are no longer trying to go forward. So if they find, they judge that I'm among the 10, I am humbled. But for me, every day, I will still go back there and then look for my living. And if I could help other people through my activities, that's the biggest achievement for me.
Yes. And what is your key message to young people who are listening to you, watching you today, sharing your story?
Go for what you want. Don't never let anybody tell you that you can't. The only person that could stop you is you. And above all, faith, because faith is important. That's what pushes me every morning to go out there in the world, and then do what I gotta do. The ideas that come around, some higher power is guiding you anyway. So faith is good, believe in yourself, and then make sure that you do the right thing. And don't be scared to fail. Don't be scared to make mistakes. We are not perfect. And those imperfections actually that make us so interesting. I'm sitting here today is because I've failed so many times. I've lost a lot of money, throughout my business, but I never give up. Every time I fell, I get up even stronger. I find other ways. It's like maybe, yes, I've learned this is what I did wrong. I could have done it this way. Okay, if I don't have all that I need, but there are people around me that could guide me. So don't be scared to go and ask for help. Surround yourself with people that understand where you want to go and that will encourage you. Surround yourself of positive thinking people, of like-minded people, because that's the only way you will go ahead.
And how is the society perceiving you?
Well, it's difficult to talk for other people, but then I'll say that I have so far a positive feedback, and I think I have a lot of support. And one of you wanted me to share my experience, so that means that I am able to give a positive impact to people around me. So I think society so far is giving me the positive feedback, which is encouraging me to go forth and then to push and work harder to be able to bring forth young people and women.
Yes. And for this World Exports Development
Yes.
Forum,
Yes.
tell us about your short experience within these 2 days. What you have done, what you have seen, how you feel it's helping out.
I think I've seen a lot of enthusiasm within the Zambian community. I've seen a lot of women, a lot of young people coming to get more information about how they could actually get more involved into the trade, about how they'll make their life better. And I think that was the key point. It's about how to bring people to actually leave this forum with key important messages about how they could change their life and possibly change other people's life. We have launched the She Trade. So we have a lot of women that are involved in trades. I mean, the informal trade, women, African women only, is about 70% of the informal trade. So this forum will help them sometime be a little bit more away from the informal and get more into the formal, because when you want to be financed, that means you have to put some sort of strategies in place. And now we're letting you know that you have a platform where you could go get some training, and when you have products, they will teach you about how to get your products abroad, your product to the customer, so you could actually make money. Because if you have a product and you cannot sell it, then you are not trading, then you are not making any type of improvement. And I think this forum were about that. And then we were also talking about the free trade, liberal circulation among Africans. I know we still have a long way to go, but what is more important is that we are starting somewhere. And then I see a lot of the government, I see them, they really want to take upon this and then work hand in hand with the private sector and also with the community. So I think we all have to work together to make it work. It's not only the government, but it's also the government, it's the private sector, and us as far as community. We have to take up on the opportunities. And then I'm happy that few of the young and women were here today to take advantage of that opportunity, and I hope they will share it with those that were not able to be here today, to tell them there are systems, there are programs that are being put in place that we could actually take advantage of.
As a mine owner, when you eventually start selling your diamonds and gold,
Yes.
what are you going to do for Africa? Are you having any plans? What is your vision?
My vision, first of all, is training, is to push education. Because I myself I only cannot do much. But if it is 1% or 0.1 change I could bring about, that is already huge. And if others do the same, I think change will bring about. Because first of all, change is about personal change. That's what I said. Our role will be first to help those that have not reached a certain level of change to be aware of what is going on. You know, you have to be aware that you need to change certain ways for you to get ahead. I could bring you all that I want, all the money you need, but if you are not willing to take action, it doesn't make sense. So I think the biggest change would be awareness, to bring first awareness to the community. And my objective is to build local entrepreneurship, you know, is to team up with local villagers, farmers, landowners, you know, and then build something. Then you have them involved. It's not just giving them. The best way to empower people is to teach them how to empower themselves. You know, is to put them right in the middle, in the front of the action, that they feel like they did it themselves, even though you are giving them a little push. So that's the way I want to do it. It's not being the one doing it, it's doing it together and together growing, together bringing that change. Because each village, each African continent has its own cultures, has its own needs. You know, and how am I going to be more efficient if I don't get you involved and I don't listen to your need? So if one day I were to reach the exploitation phase, and then let's say we have 10 years of exploitation in the village, after those 10 years, how will those villagers continue? So that's the bigger question. So that's where I need to focus.
Thank you very much. Please introduce yourself again.
Tiguidanke Camara, Chairman and CEO of Tigui Mining Group. And thank you so much, Stella, for giving me this opportunity. And then, like I was telling you earlier, it's because of you that people will be able to hear our voice. If you think we are strong women, it's because there are stronger women behind us. And then you are among those. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. And I'm sure that you are leading the way for many, many people. You told me 20 years you've been doing this, and I'm encouraging you also to take upon that change and then do your own, create your own enterprise to bring more young people, young women, young men into your field of work, which is very important because that's communication.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.